You are tuned into the W Show on Sideline Sports Talk Network and 100.1 FM, Kansas City. Live from Radio Row in San Francisco, California. Brought to you by Gates Barbecue, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Dillard Zona Rosa, the Soul of Santa, Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services, and Wood Nissan.
All right, back here live on Radio Row. We've been moving and grooving today. A bunch of guests coming through. A bunch of guys that you all know, our viewers and listeners in Kansas City. We have yet another NFL player. We have Ameer Abdullah, running back for the Indianapolis Colts. What's up, my man? How are you?
What's up, man? Doing pretty well. Glad to be on.
Good, man. I appreciate you giving us some time.
Yep. Kansas City. That's kind of familiar territory for me. I went to University of Nebraska.
Yep. Yes,
so I used to go down to what was it, Power and Light?
Yeah.
Many moons ago.
Yeah. And you talk about many moons ago. You've been in the league a little while, man.
I have.
10 years in the league.
You got
over here.
My lady likes it.
Yeah. Off season, going into what? This is your 10th year off season, man. Let's talk about 11th year.
Yeah.
11th year off season, man. Let's talk about how you've grown from year one off season to now.
Yeah, I would say the biggest areas of growth for me have really just about like rest, learning how to rest.
Okay.
You know, when you're young, you're super ambitious and you're like, all right, I know what I didn't do well last season, so let me get right back to it. And I think as people, we should kind of line our schedules or just our goals up with like the seasons a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of us get out of the circadian rhythm.
Yes.
And we call it alignment, right? We're like, oh, we misaligned. But really, you're just really not in season, you know? And that's something I learned year after year. Around like year 5 is when it really clicked for me. I was like, all right, right now, my off season comes at a time where it's winter time. I need to be resting. I need to be hibernating. I need to be recharging. So I think that's what's kind of given me that extra boost where I've been able to, create the longevity that I've had in this league because I actually rest. And what that looks like for me is like really not doing anything and, getting recharged the right way with like family, community, giving back, things that are a little bit more sustainable.
Yeah.
I'm going back to my job on Monday and telling them that it is wintertime. I need to hibernate. I need to go home and rest.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be
nice?
And so when you're talking about resting and, letting your body recover, like how is your training regimen then? Are you skipping the weights and doing more, cardio and different things like that? Or is it like a complete rest?
It's right now what I like to do is do things that feel like life.
Yeah.
So like I'll box, I'll go hiking. I do, a lot of things where I'm walking with family and talking. And that in itself can kind of serve as a little light load of, conditioning that I need. And of course I ramp up as time goes and I'll start adding more of the weights and more of the running. But I like to kind of like get my nervous system back to a place where I feel like a human again, because I was just getting tackled every game for 17 games plus if you played in the playoffs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like my activity to be more life, fulfilling.
Yeah, definitely. And then talk about this Colts season, because I mean it wasn't necessarily a team that like turned around, but I feel like you guys, and not for your own expectations, I feel like you guys exceeded a lot of the expectations that were league wide. Talk about how the difference in attitude it was for that team.
Well, this year with the Colts was my first year with them. Yeah. So the expectations I didn't necessarily have any familiarity with, but I know from playing the Colts, in years past with other teams I was with, where they had kind of been stagnant for a while. Yeah. I think where we kind of got over the hump was stability at the quarterback position. Yeah. I really feel like the Colts, ever since they lost Andrew Luck, they've been trying to find that guy that has the youth and also the potential to sustain the organization. They plug and play guys like Flacco, Matt Ryan, guys who were kind of on the way out of their career. That wasn't necessarily a sustainable option. So it kind of felt parasitic in a sense. You're feeding off this for a minute, then now it's like, all right, what's the next source? And to have a guy like Daniel Jones come in with a guy like Shane Steichen, who's like a scientist of a coach. He's a guy who's obsessed with the game. He's going to break it down. He's going to make game day really easy. The expectations are, our play call sheet every game was really about 35 to 40 plays,
really?
Which isn't that many, but we can dress it up in so many different ways, from motions and things like that can kind of make the defense feel like, oh, something else is coming, but it's our bread and butter every single time. And when you got a guy like Daniel Jones, who's also obsessed with the game that way, that matrimony was perfect for him because, of course, things in New York weren't as smooth for him because he didn't have that same leadership. So I think it was really about the timing with the quarterback and the right coaching.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, how devastating was it when Daniel Jones went down and how the season was projecting upwards, and then you guys bring in an older Phillip Rivers for a couple of games against my 49ers to kind of get you guys in the playoffs. How was that transition?
Man, it was tough. It was tough because we were on such a good trajectory. I think we were like 8-2 at some point. And some weird things started happening. We lost Anthony Richardson, our backup quarterback, to a freak accident pregame and warm-ups, which was weird. And then we ended up losing Sauce Gardner, a guy that we, traded a lot of capital away for, who we expected to come in and, play some serviceable minutes for us. Lost him to a calf strain. And then we lost our best defensive player, DeForest Buckner, the very next week. The week before that, actually, to a neck injury. So very fast, we were like, boom, boom. Our key players are, kind of out, and we're supplementing, rotating some guys in. So losing Daniel in Jacksonville in a game that was really pivotal, where we kind of had the momentum. That's a game where I feel like if we had Daniel the whole game, it probably could have shifted the trajectory of our season completely. Who knows, where it would be. So to lose him to such a devastating injury like an Achilles injury like that was kind of a gut punch. But for me, it was kind of a feel-good story because I'm from Alabama originally, and Phillip Rivers is from Athens, Alabama. So he was always kind of like a legend for me. And fun fact, my first game was against the San Diego Chargers. That's how long I've been in the league.
Yeah,
they were in Qualcomm in San Diego when I had my first game was against Phillip Rivers. So it kind of felt like a full circle moment for me to play with Phillip Rivers, which obviously we weren't able to get it done. But I think even in his presence, there's something to take from.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking at the sweater because I like the sweater.
You like that?
Is this a Mad Happy brand that's something you're involved in?
No,
or?
this is actually a brand out in LA. I just think it's a beautiful oxymoron in a sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm mad happy. And we know as the collective Black community, a lot of our slang can get colonized or taken, and this is something I feel like they haven't taken yet. What I mean? It's like the word mad, which doesn't always mean like I'm upset. It's like I'm intensely, I'm intensely happy, which I am right now in life. I am.
And even staying on that fashion wavelength, are you a guy that really gets into the fashion and the threads, game day, things like that? Are you?
I like to dress. I wouldn't call myself like a fashionista necessarily. I feel like my rule of thumb is if I feel good in it, then it's going to look good on me. And I think a lot of people should do that because you can buy the name brand stuff. You can buy the really cool items, but if you feel tight, it's not going to express the way that you actually think it looks. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. I like oversized clothes. I like things like that. But I do like to style a little bit from time to time.
It's hard for people to understand that though, because I'm do stuff and it's like, man, if it don't feel good, like I ain't gonna wear it.
Exactly.
I don't feel confident. Like I always feel confident, but I just don't feel like it look right,
I think it's a bigger message about like it's always going to start from the source, who you are, what you're telling yourself, what you're thinking about yourself. So whatever you put on, it won't matter if you don't really believe it, if you don't really feel that way. So I think that's a really powerful metaphor.
Yeah. So do you always bring the energy? I see it on your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to be modest about that response. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I think that it's important to speak with intention. I think it's important to step out there and put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Me and my girlfriend, we're actually on this thing right now where we're on a rejection tour.
Yeah.
Where we're going and we're trying to get rejected as much as we can in life. We want to get a bunch of no's. And if you go for something that you think is a no for life, like you ask for maybe funding for a film or something that you're doing, and it's a yes, it doesn't count. You got to write something else on the list. So I think that's a certain energy in itself.
Yeah.
Whereas like bravery, whatever you're stepping into. And and a long-winded answer, yeah, I would say.
What
yeah.
made y'all come up with that?
She's brilliant, you know what I mean? So she thought of it. I don't know if she saw it on some social media trend or whatnot, but I just think it's really, really cool for people to kind of step into rejection, because a lot of us are so sheltered because of beauty standards or social standards that, like, if I'm rejected, this is the end of me, which is like, no, it's actually a beginning.
Yeah.
It's a beginning of seeing where your threshold is. This is a beginning to see where maybe you need to change this detail in your treatment that you put together as a pitch packer or whatever it may be. Yeah. And you will never know that new beginning if you stay in the same place.
You stay in your comfort zone.
So you're talking about treatments and pitch packaging and things. Like what is so talk about that, because in the film industry you can get a lot of no's, and especially being like a startup production. Like what end of the film industry are you guys in?
So I started off as a cinematographer. So I'm a cinematographer by trade, but I've gotten into storytelling. I started off in spoken words. I would do spoken words and poetry myself, and I did a lot of like commercials for Lululemon, Best Buy, things like that as a cinematographer. But now I'm writing screenplay myself.
Oh wow,
that's fire. When can we see that? When can we watch it?
So right now I'm writing a book right now. So my plan is to get the book through publication, build the fan base, and then to film production. That space, I've become really like a fiend for fiction. So I was reading a lot of fictional novels, and you see the same lane that like Harry Potter took, or the lane that most recently the book The Housemaid. You ever seen the book The Housemaid?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Just came out. It's sweeping the nation right now, where they have a whole series, but they did a good job of, releasing the book, building a fan base, and then they got the funding through the fan base of people following the book. So
that's kind of Sweeney.
Yes.
Okay. I know what we're talking about.
And I've heard a lot of athletes doing this, where you're using your football or using a sport to fund what you really want to do. Is that you, or is that?
Well, I wouldn't say fun, because I don't want to spend any of my own.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I would say my residual value of my network.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. I think that a lot of us get in this space and we think that it's just about football. But just meeting you guys today, learning what you guys are interested in could potentially create a relationship that could birth so many different things. Right. And I think that events like this and bringing the energy, chasing that rejection will allow you to see that.
Yeah.
Amir, where can people find you on social media? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Instagram is where I'm most visible. LinkedIn as well. At Abdiggity on Instagram. It's a childhood nickname. But you can also just search Amir Abdullah.
He said LinkedIn. Not a lot of athletes got LinkedIn. Like, for real.
Yeah,
we appreciate you giving us some time, brother.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Amir Abdullah. We'll be right back with more guests.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundations, or affiliates.